I'm ready to watch uh, uh, the Fargonauts presents Kenneth Branagh's Mary Shelley's Victor Frankenstein's Monster.
Well, welcome to this spooky episode, and it's a long time coming for us Fargonaut boys. We're watching Frankenstein, a classic.
Finally, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, like, out of the Universal monster movies, this is the one we've all seen the most.
Probably.
Yeah.
What ones have you seen? Let's.
Oh gosh.
Not many, dude. Not many, because I didn't like. So, it was never. I would catch bits and bobs on like
TCM
TV back in the day. But it
TCM,
would be
baby.
like, well, yeah, when I was young, and it would be like a fucking. This is old. I'm gonna turn it. After a while,
This is black and
but
white.
then like.
Stupid.
This is old.
You know, when I hit my 20s, I was like, I want to watch those, and they just like weren't readily available anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've been on, what was it, Peacock for the last how many ever years. But I never had Peacock, so I was like, fuck. And then I had it this year. Turns out they only have the first movie on there, or the first Frankenstein on there, and then a bunch of sequels to things, and all the other ones are on fucking Hulu for free. Well, if you have Prime. Not Hulu, Amazon Prime. If you have Prime.
So your situation is you put them on before you go to sleep.
I started watching it. So now I've seen, Frankenstein I'd seen the most. I'd seen it in school, and I'd watched it outside of school once or twice. I've probably seen it 3 or 4 times. Dracula, I did watch the full thing of that. And that was my first time seeing that. Completely. So I still have, the Mummy and fucking, Phantom, all those
Invisible Man.
ones. Invisible Man.
Creature.
I had Wolfman. I started. I fell asleep.
Never seen Invisible Man. I don't know that I've seen. Maybe I did see Wolfman a long time ago.
What about Creature?
I haven't seen the Creature. I haven't seen the Creature. I've seen bits and bobs.
Yeah, I know that I've seen that one, but a lot of it has like completely left my mind for just a lot of like mixed images of that thing swinging underwater, grabbing people's legs, all that.
Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of the things that they are based off of them, obviously, like out of the other Universal attempts at monster movies, like, well, there's the Mummy series, obviously, and then, dude, I was just seeing they had it on, I think, Prime, and I was real tempted to watch it, but that Wolfman movie they did with Anthony Hopkins and Benicio del Toro.
Oh yeah.
Where there's like
watched that one.
There's a fucking boss battle at the end between the two. Like,
yeah, like besides the boss battle, it's not a terrible movie. I watched that last year, I think.
I think the boss battle just makes it better. It's just because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, like it is, but you have to like take it in that light. Yeah,
exaczly.
The CG's not great, and just like but
with some Frankenstein. How about that?
It's Frankenstein time.
We're gonna watch it. You can watch this. I've found different locations you could find this. You can find it on Vimeo.
It's on Peacock. It's on Vimeo. It's on. I think it's on Hulu or Prime as well, I think.
Yeah, so go out there, give it a watch. We're gonna watch it in HD. So buckle
HD's
up,
not
high definition.
High definition nuts.
How do you do?
Pretty good.
Mr. Carl Lemley feels it would be a little unkind to present this picture without just a word of friendly warning. We are about to unfold the story of Frankenstein, a man of science who sought to create a man after his own image without reckoning upon God.
Classic Universal. And there we have Boris Karloff as the monster. But he was a question mark before.
Yep. Surprise.
Who or what could it be?
Yeah, Dwight Fry was Fritz. That's what I remember. All right. We just finished Frankenstein. First time watching it as a group. It was kind of fun. Every so often in October, I do watch some Universal monsters and just have them on because they're just kind of moody and kind of relaxing after a while. I'm sure for their time, they were kind of like the epitome of like horror. Like people thought this was just like the freakiest thing ever, especially seeing the monster for the first time. Like when he comes out of the shadows, like just that image of him, just like there, boom. I'm sure that like gave people nightmares because look at that dude.
Yeah, dude. Iconic, instantly iconic, dude.
But watching it now, it's just like you just are kind of. It evokes some kind of, I don't know, horror, but like it's a
tone, mood.
It's a tone. It's an atmosphere, I guess. It like just he's an atmosphere. He helps like the Halloween atmosphere. He brings forth like that mood. Just looking at him, like the makeup and everything, you just got to applaud everything for its time. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
What'd you guys think watching it as a group? It was kind of interesting to see what we're all like looking at and.
Right. I think that's one of the benefits of us all seeing this multiple times. Mm-hmm. And so like we can look around and see things outside of what, your intended view is or your intended viewpoint.
What'd you think of like the because at a certain point I had like the volume cranked. I don't know if you guys like turned down the stream volume, but like during the actual like storm scene where it's just like it was just a cacophony of like noises, thunder, like zaps and zoops and booms and bangs. There's times where I was like, I wish they maybe mixed this a little bit better, or like somebody went in and like mixed it better, or I don't know, did something with the actual Foley of the soundtrack or something. Mm-hmm. But other than that, like that, and I guess the Village people just all screaming and
Village people do YMCA.
The YMCA busted through town, and they were just like barking with their dogs and stuff. It's just that kind of was too long for me. Yeah, other than like the noise and the audio mix, it's just a classic all around. Like great performances by everybody. I would say I don't know. I guess the fiance was serviceable. Maybe a little bit more of her, but the friend, he was definitely just. I don't know if he was needed at all. The actual Victor character, this guy, he was kind of there just to be like, yeah, I'm Victor, and I like your fiance. I want to marry you, and I wish you were mine, and all that stuff. And that's his story. That was his whole like arch. It's like I'm just infatuated with Henry's wife or Henry's fiance. Yeah. But I like the dynamic of Henry and his teacher. His teacher kind of like took a part of like, I'm gonna oversee this now because like you took the wrong brain, dude. Like you really screwed this up for everybody. So I'm gonna like do some tests. And once he started to do the tests, Frankenstein or the monster woke up. I was like, "You're not doing tests on me, punk. I'm gonna crack your skull."
Nah.
You touch
that ain't it.
You touch my privates. That's a red flag zone. And he's just like choked him out. He's like, never again, Doc.
Yep.
But what else was a standout like scene or like something maybe you caught that you haven't seen? We made a lot of like comments about the set. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just
like looking at the set,
the general like design and how they practically pulled off, and it carries like in my memory at least a number of these old Universal productions where like matte painting, like volumetric lighting in a way, like they do so much with so little, but it is like such an iconic and effective method. And I have no idea what the layout of this castle is like, or the history of it, or any of these things. I don't care. I just like you said, it's like whether it's Frankie staring down the barrel with the half-lidded eyes, or something like this. This is so rich in its texture, in its lighting, its like focal depth, and all of these things, that it's like, this is what a part of me thinks of when I think of Halloween, and it is gorgeous.
Agreed.
Yeah, this set right here, that shot is one of my favorite shots in the movie. It's just, that's a painting. Like, it's so good.
The background,
it's one of the things
too
consistent with this movie is there's so many like well composed frames where you could just stop and be like, yep, that's a painting, you know what I mean? Like, just good, just solid fucking composed shots that give you just like great atmosphere and and tonal.
This shot too, when they're just starting to dig the grave, and you got like, all the crooked tombstones and stuff.
This whole scene, like this scene and the brain stealing scene, definitely stuck with me as a kid. And it's not often that you get these older black and white movies that are, because that was more done out of necessity than and like a way to.
But yeah, I mean, like, as Tyler's going here, you could hit just each little frame by frame. You're pretty much just getting a composed picture the entire time. Like, every single thing you jump to. Look.
There we go.
Oh no.
But I can't hear him.
Judy has caught up with us.
I'm here.
Judy!
Can you hear me, guys?
Judy!
Now I can.
Now I can. I can't watch the stream.
I heard you for a little bit, but yeah, I had to leave and come back. But this, I'm on the frame where it looks like he's doing the Jack Torrance stare.
Yes.
It's so Kubrick-esque, where he's just like, call me crazy, will you? Because that's when, that's when Victor called him, you're crazy. He's like, whoa, hold on now.
Yeah.
You called me crazy.
Who you call crazy?
But yeah, that's a great frame that I kind of didn't catch on to, because I made mention that it was very Jack Torrance-esque. So yeah, it's just a good lighting, good like disheveled look to him, and we get to the main event where he actually revives the body, and then they have to like hold him back after he comes alive, you know? And he's like, it's alive, alive. And I think have you guys heard of the different edits that this scene went through, where he's like, now I know what it is like to be God, where like in some versions they kind of clip in more thunder, so it's not blasphemous. I guess for people watching.
Yeah. Less noticeably blasphemous.
You're right. So there's
that. I guess I don't know what blasphemy truly is.
Oh, like him just saying that now I know now I know what it's like God. To be God.
Yeah,
to be God.
Like, yeah. Okay.
Blasphemy is just like an act towards or against God or whatever.
Affront.
Okay, what's the line? What's the line?
The line is,
there is no line, depending on who. It all depends on who's fucking deciding. So
just anything that is
censors,
not like,
it's censors of the time. So very
saying like
yeah.
Just saying oh my God is like a sin because you're taking the Lord's name in vain. So like it's the
stupid idea, like at the beginning where the guy basically says,
so saying that I know what it is to be God is would be blasphemous.
But I don't even know what it means to take the Lord's name in vain.
Like you are using it in a like a negative connotation, or in like a you're using it like outside of, venerating it essentially.
Yeah. So that's my read is that any time that you're not saying it in a positive way, it's no good.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
If you're going to utter it, it has to be positive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And to be venerating it. Yeah.
Got it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anything that's like, now I'm God. Claiming things like that. It's just, you're human. It's not really your place. It's stepping out of your realm, really. So when he does that, like, it's somewhat true. He stitched together body parts, but the body parts came from other, people that were alive at one point. So he's like, oh yeah, this body never lived, but the parts were from people that were alive. So the concept of this, I think, would work in the modern day. Would you guys like agree that maybe a modern take on this would be interesting?
Yeah.
Using the ideas that, have come about with AI and what we've discussed here. You could.
Oh yeah, you can constantly adapt it to whatever technology people have at the time to be used.
The galvanization, or the doctor was talking about oh yeah, his work with electricity and galvanization or something like that is remarkable. And that was a new technology of its time. When Mary Shelley was learning about that, she's like, oh yeah, that would be interesting. Maybe we can make a story about a person bringing dead back to life. Whereas we're getting closer to that with AI. We're not bringing dead things alive, but we're creating life from nothing, kind of. But
well, not from nothing, but from other people's stuff.
No, not in that context. In the context of building from those ideas of artificially making intelligence, we can somehow manufacture a Frankenstein-esque idea from that, where it's not truly, taking dead people or things like that, but making life from codes and machines, kind of like how he's doing. He's making somebody come alive with all these crazy machinery that sparks and lights up. The equivalent of that is probably what a microwave or something. All that equipment is basically a microwave, because he's using that ray. He talked about the ray, which I'm assuming is some kind of gamma ray or ultraviolet, because they did some kind of technical jargon about the ultraviolet and the gamma radiation and things like that. In so many words, they were talking about basically gamma radiation and microwaves and things like that.
Right.
Because you got to remember, they didn't have microwaves at this time in 1931.
Right.
But yeah, the technology could translate to modern technology, or the idea of using technology to create life and things like that would be really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
We got this character. He was a great side character. He was the Baron. Let's
have some champagne.
Here's to Frankenstein. This guy just wants a son, and he I guess he couldn't accept Frankenstein's monster as his son.
That's what I'm saying.
I just wanted a bouncing baby boy. I didn't want a large boy man.
Just a large boy man, did.
I did want to say we should do a watch of Young Frankenstein. We should try to do that with Dracula too, where we watch the original, Bela Lugosi one, and then we watch the Mel Brooks version of it.
Yeah,
because I do love that one too.
You should watch Bride though too. I would think.
I do love Bride too. because it's kind of like a continuation from this, and it's definitely in the book.
Yeah, I think we should work through the main ones of the Universal stuff first, and then if we're able to, then we can go back and do Bride. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Young Frankenstein, I'm down to do whatever.
I mean, that's just a good one to do around this time, because I don't know if you recall, like, wasn't our first reel-to-reel like Clue? No, it was Popeye, and then it was
Popeye.
Clue was like when we were all together.
Pluto.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, stay tuned for us watching Young Frankenstein and reviewing that, and I'm sure people have seen that, probably even more than this movie, because it's so good.
I would think so.
We'll leave it on this frame of Mr. Frankenstein, Mr. Monster. I call him Frankie. I call him Frankenstein. It doesn't matter. He's the monster, but he's well known as just Frankenstein too. Anything else to say about this? Anything else you guys caught that was kind of new after watching it again?
I think we talked about most of it.
Wilson, you were talking before I kind of got interrupted and had to like dip out. What were you continuing to say? Where you kind of were talking about the sets and the mood.
It just is like, whether it's the classic Halloween vibe, where growing up as a child, where it's made a little bit more safe for you. Things are a little bit desensitized from the true, like, if people lean into the horror aspects of it, your parents aren't going to show you the Exorcist, but they might show you like something like The Nightmare Before Christmas. Mm-hmm. And you get to learn like spooky, scary skeleton. It's scary, but it's fun, and this right here does so much to just communicate that.
But yeah, thanks for watching, and stay spooky, everybody.
Stay spooky.